This week I'm going to do a boating trip with a good mate of mine, Terry Hayden. Now Terry lost his leg in a boating accident, about 20 years ago, but that doesn't deter him from his two great loves, and that's the ocean and saltwater fly fishing. Now Terry manufactures these top-of-the-range fly reels, and he's always wanted to test them out along the wild Kimberley coast. So he's going to join me as we launch the boat up the top of the Dampier Peninsula, and we're going to do a boating trip into the dangerous waters of the Buccaneer Archipelago. Without local knowledge, I wouldn't suggest anyone tackling this country. The rushing tides are incredibly dangerous. This is why not many people fish these waters, because it's just too dangerous. I've been coming into these waters for 30 years. We've got the second highest rise and fall of tide in the world. All this white water, they're just rocks under there, mate, but we're going to get through there. But around the back, in the back eddy, brilliant fishing. Take her away, Rocker. Go. Go, 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 go. This is Terry's first fish. We're not sure what it is. Look at that. Hey, look out, we're going around in a whirlpool. That's all right, just hang on, everybody. Just hang on, it's not too bad. I'll turn the head towards me a little bit. Yeah.
My first decent queenie.
Right. There we are. That's a good fish, isn't it? What do you reckon, bud? How's your knee feel, Terry?
Okay, it's a little bit tired, but
yeah,
that's the reason I use crutches as much as I can on hills these days.
Oh. Now tell me, Terry, how does this leg work?
Well, it's a pendulum system, and this one's got a hydraulic unit in it, as you can see
Right there, yeah.
And as you walk, the hydraulic reacts as necessary. If you step off the toe, it breaks away.
So when you put pressure on the ground here, it naturally bends really quickly.
Yeah, you've got to put a lot of pressure on it though, the weight of your body.
I see, the weight of the body? Yeah.
So it does it in that, because a step is like that, so if you do that, it breaks away.
That's fantastic.
And yet if you just try and do it, there you go.
Yeah. And up there it just goes down nice and slowly. Sun up. Terry's already out on the rocks, making up some flies. Terry, even though a lot of the fish here are quite big, most of them are feeding on little tiny bait fish, only about 2 or 3, perhaps 4 centimetres long, mainly white. Now, can you make a good fly that'll represent those little bait fish?
Certainly can, Mel. I've already started a similar type of fly here out of a white synthetic, which can be trimmed to whatever length and depth that you wish.
Now that's looking pretty good. It's only about 3 or 4 centimetres long. Basically white, just wants a touch of black or blue in it, and I reckon that'll work really well.
I can do that. We use a texture.
Rightio. Oh, texture colour.
Yeah.
Righto, that sounds good to me. So there we have it, a very simple fly. Very small, so when it goes through the water, it'll get wet, and it'll look like a little bait fish. IG, you're a determined customer.
Thank you very much.
he's a big one, Terry.
Have a look over here. Look out, let's get out of here.
Go for it, go, go. I thought Bundy might have gone over. Look, you better get off there. Come on, too dangerous. Hey, Terry, we've got about 3 metres at the mouth of this creek, but I want to get in here. I reckon it's a good place to have a fish, but I tell you what, there's some white water down here. I better get out of here. Nothing goes to plan in the Kimberleys. Just working out to go into this creek, and suddenly the tide got us and spun us around. In a split second, the boat is stuck. The stern's jammed on a rock there. The anchor and the bow stuck up there, and we're just balancing here. So it's a little bit hairy. Hopefully, in a minute or two, this boat's going to pick up, so the boat's not going to swing around and damage ourselves down on these rocks down here. Hang on, hang on. Here we go, here we go. Hang on. We're right, we're right. We're off the rock.
There it is.
Not too much damage. Oh, there's never a dull moment in the Kimberleys, mate, I tell you. Unbelievable. Just have a look, Terry, at the water moving over those rocks there.
I can see it all right.
This is the fly that we made this morning. I'm now going to show you how good it is. What do you reckon, Terry? We call it a day and go back and make camp, mate. The tide is running out now. This is one of my very special places in the Kimberley. I wanted to show you this, Terry, before we headed home. What you've got here is a very high reef, and the tide here drops so quickly, all this water's trapped on the top, and you've got this just spectacular waterfall that runs for several hundred metres up there. Isn't that beautiful?
Absolutely.
Absolutely fantastic. I can come back here time and time and time again, and I never tire of this. This is just beautiful. And now for something completely different. I'm going to make a good old Australian pavlova. Going to make it in the camp oven. Oh yes, I know, I can see you all smiling out there. Well, they're not bad things to carry out here in the bush. These have been around for donkey's years. Pavlova magic. So we just open it up. Before I cook it, I'm going to tell you just quickly what I'm going to do. You've got to have a beautiful, calm morning. No wind, because you don't want any dust blowing around to get in your bowl, because that's going to wreck the egg when you beat it up. I've got a nice bowl here, and I've got to have that spotlessly clean, no oil, no dust, and we need an inverter. Now an inverter basically converts the 12-volt current, you see I've got it attached to the battery over here, converts the 12-volt current to 240. So I just switch it on, and now out here in the bush, presto. So all ready to go. These little pavlova mixtures, you can carry them for months. Just pull the label off, break it in half here. There's the instructions inside, which I don't need. There's your egg white. You keep these nice and clean, because these are what you use for measuring your water and your caster sugar. Righto. We'll take the bottom one. I've got here lukewarm water. Perfect. Pour it off carefully, because I don't want any rubbish in the water. tip it in the bowl there. Get my mixture. Take the top off it quickly. Tip it in. We just beat this up for about 15 seconds. Righto. Flick the inverter on. Put the mixer up on full speed. And give it to it for about 10 or 12 minutes. Let's go. This is where your experience comes in. It might only be 4 or 5 minutes. When you get it nice and thick, see it peaking here? Now use the other half of the egg for your caster sugar. Put your beater down on slow speed and tip it in slowly. Now back up to high speed for 1 minute. Righto, that's ready to go, straight into the camp oven. Now the next most important aspect of cooking a pav in a camp oven is very low heat. I'm just going down there into the hot sand, just a touch of ash. Righto. Now, you only want your camp oven at around about 100 degrees. So, I think that's pretty right. What I'm going to do is put aluminium foil in the bottom here, in there. I've made myself a little foil ring here. Pop that in the bottom of the camp oven and straight in with the mixture. Now on with the lid. There we are. Just a couple of coals on top. Now I only want to have that pav at about 100 degrees. I can just about touch the side of it. There's still a little bit too much heat around here, so I get rid of all this. This is the most critical part. If you've got too much heat, you'll cook your pavlova, it'll rise, in a few minutes, bang, go down the size of a pancake. The time has come to check the pav. Now I'll let you in a little secret. This one here, oh, look at that. This is actually number 2. The other one was okay, but this one is perfect. See it there? And here we are an hour later. Let the pav get nice and cool. And what I'm going to do is take the foil off. And here, I've got tinned kiwi fruit, tinned mandarin, and bottled passion fruit squirt. I'll finish it off with the passion fruit squirt. Now how's that for a treat out in the bush?
Yep, absolutely.
That'll do me for my sushi. Once you've caught your tuna, it's pretty easy out in the bush to make some sushi rolls, providing you've got the raw ingredients. The first thing you need is sushi rice. It's a very small, short grain rice. 2 cups of rice to about 1 cup of water. I'll bring that rice to a rapid boil and then I'll simmer it for about 12 minutes. There we are. That rice has been on for about 10 or 12 minutes now on a low heat. I'm just taking it off and put the lid back on, and I'll leave that there for about another 10 minutes until there's no moisture left. The next step is about 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar. If you don't have the rice vinegar, it's not going to work. So mix all that up together. The nori rolls or dry seaweed, you can carry it for weeks in the bush. Once you let the air in, you've got to use it up. Now, the traditional way of making the shushy rolls is to use a bamboo mat. I don't have that out in the bush, so I'm just going to use the table, and I'm going to put my rice straight on here. Right. All I have for filling is some slivers of onion out here, and the tuna that I caught, I've soaked it in soy sauce, so it's gone a little dark, but that's fine. Before I roll it up, I just add a touch of the very hot traditional wasabi sauce. Don't put too much on or you burn everybody's palate. Righto. Now, that'll roll up well there. Here we go. Now to seal it, a bit of water. To cut the roll, you need a very sharp, wet knife. And it just slices through there. To finish it off, a little soy sauce. Pretty good. In the wheat belt of Western Australia, I meet up with Bob. He has a passion for collecting and restoring old tractors. Now, Bob, I get the impression you're in love with tractors, is that right?
Oh, yeah, well, I've always had a soft spot for them. And
This is a pretty old one.
yeah,
This one behind us is pretty new.
that's right.
How old's that one?
This one here,
Yeah.
although we've only had that one, about 2 months,
How old are you now?
77.
And you're just going into another stage of life. I mean, look at the size of
Oh,
this
well,
thing.
I don't really ever drive them. Occasionally I might drive for half a day.
Yeah,
And
well, that's
but,
not bad.
the boys,
Well, how many acres of wheat have you got in here?
we got 22,500 acres.
So how many tractors have you got altogether restored?
Well, I got to think a bit.
Bob is a compulsive collector,
Yeah,
and he's lost count of how many tractors he's reconditioned.
Shed, though, of course. That little Caterpillar came to this district in 1941.
Look at this.
It's rather unique, really.
Shows you what the old timers were like. All the hours that he's done in this machine are all written in this book here. Look. Have you ever worked out how many hours he's actually
Yeah,
done?
6,100 it's done. I think it's in the back.
And what's the story behind this old Chev?
Yeah, that's a 1927, 28 Chev, I think that's what it is.
That is very special, though, isn't it? In another few
Oh,
years,
yeah, well,
you're gonna
you know,
lose a lot
old
of
trucks like that now are pretty hard to come by.
money. That's right. In this sort of condition.
Yeah, well, this one's been done up, of course.
Yeah.
There's the powerhouse there under the bonnet.
The powerhouse.
Yeah, that's a lot of the old stuff we used to use in years gone by.
Yeah, these were very
That
common.
was
I used to
Dad's old
jackaroo.
separator. I
I
wound
used to
that
work
many
one of
times.
these every morning
Yeah,
when I was a young bloke.
get the cream and
Yeah.
the butter.
You have to milk the cows by hand.
Yeah, that's right.
The younger generation don't even know what these are, you know.
No, they'd ask you.
The milk
yeah.
goes in there and you turn the handle and the cream comes out here.
There's
and then
the
you
old-
take the cream and put it in the butter maker and make your butter.
Old milk buckets. That one
Yeah.
had a bit of a battering. The
Yeah,
cow kicked that a few times. It was an
right.
enamel one.
Yeah.
This is an aluminium one, but
You know, I met a woman in Broome a few years ago. She wouldn't drink milk after she found out that milk came out of the back of a cow. This is a true story. She was a Dutch lady.
Yeah.
And I said, where do you think it comes from? She said, well, it comes out of a bottle.
Yeah.
I said, yes, but where does it come from before it goes into the bottle?
Yeah.
She said, I saw a film of them going like this. Oh, she said, I couldn't drink milk after it. All the old
these
irons.
are the old petrol irons, Mark. That's right. They used to fill them up with petrol and then you'd turn this on and it'd vaporise and it'd heat the bottom. Bit dangerous at times.
I reckon you're one of my endangered characters because there's not many blokes at your age that are so active now, are there?
Unfortunately, there's a lot of cockies don't make old bones.
Too much like hard work,
Eh?
working 4 farms. You've got 4 places there.
Oh, yeah, but I only drive between them a lot of the time and chase a few sheep and that. I kept the sheep up to them.
Yeah. Now, Bob, what do you got here? This is a new V8.
No, New Cross 8. It's a V8.
Oh,
of
yeah,
course.
Cross 8.
Yeah.
4-wheel drive?
Yeah, a constant 4-wheel drive. I picked it up at Young Motors in Perth.
Yeah.
They reckoned I'd be the oldest bloke in Western Australia driving a Cross 8. I said, well, I don't mind.
Yeah. So this is the oldest one?
Yeah, that's the oldest one I've got here now.
Yeah.
Bar, I've got a 2-ton over in the shed that I
This
haven't
is the
finished
flashiest one.
yet.
This is the most impressive.
Yeah, most expensive anyway.
One of these would be worth about, what, 300, 350,000 or something?
Oh, about 330, I think
Yeah.
Graham said.
I'm very impressed. Well, I might keep moving.
Eh?
I might keep moving now.
All right.
Yeah, good on you, Bob. Thanks
Yeah.
for all that.
In the hottest time of the year, I meet up with this amazing character.
Now, Christian, where did you buy this bicycle?
I bought it in Adelaide. at the
Adelaide?
bike shop, yeah.
And you're riding from Adelaide?
To Darwin, and now I'm driving to Perth.
So you've gone Adelaide, Darwin,
Yeah?
and we've met you near Timber Creek, and now you're going all the way to Kununurra, and then
Kununurra.
all the way to Broome and Perth.
Yes, exactly.
But
I
it's
love the Coastal
November,
Highway.
December. It's the hottest time of the year. You enjoying it?
I'm still enjoying it, yeah. It's better than cold weather in Switzerland, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
I see a lot of Europeans and a lot of Japanese people cycling on these roads in our winter time, but I never see anyone in this time of the year. Today it's going to be about 42 degrees. How are you coping in the heat?
Right, if it gets too hot, I'll take a rest,
Yeah.
but you drive on.
Mate, I dip my hat to you. I've never seen anything like it. 40 degrees heat already. It must be 40 degrees now. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. What do you got here? You got a tent?
A tent, a bag for food. Here's also some food.
You got a frying pan here?
Some pans, a lighter.
And what do you got here? Just a spare ground sheet?
Yeah, that's for covering my bicycle at night, or if it would rain.
And do you get tired? I mean, in the heat. Unbelievable.
Tired, yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I really get tired, yeah.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of rest stops, and then I'll take a rest.
I'm going to make a very good suggestion. Do you want to ride into Kununurra or not?
No, I think I'll miss a lot, so I want to do it by bicycle.
You miss a lot of, what, snakes and animals and things on the road and, in
And the
just
scenery, yeah.
and just the
And
scenery.
the heat.
Yeah. What about a cold drink of water?
That will be nice.
Righto, mate. I'll get you a cold drink of water. Christian, look what I got here. Cold water, and I've got just the stuff for you, mate. I think they call this Powerade. Make you nice and strong. There we
Yeah,
are.
that's all right.
There we are. You just wait a minute. I'll get a stick. There we are. Mix it up. You try that.
Okay, thank you. Great.
How was that? Good?
Good, yeah, really
All
good.
right, mate. Been nice meeting you. We've got to make tracks.
Okay,
We might see you in Broome.
a broom even.
Yeah? In fact, I got the crocodile farm there. I'll give you a ticket for the crocodile farm. You come and see the crocodiles in Broome.
Oh, that will be great.
Right, mate.
Okay.
Enjoy yourself. And happy Christmas if I don't see you before
Yeah.
Christmas.
And
'Cause
this
Christmas,
year,
Christmas only in 3 weeks.
in 3 weeks,
That's right, mate. Yep.
and a bit late in New
Oh.
Year's Eve.
That's right. Well, enjoy yourself.
Okay,
Good cycling.
see ya.
I'm just about to head out into the great sandy desert of Western Australia. I'm heading for the Kirakara community. Now, the Kirakara community is the home of the Pinabi Aborigines, and Europeans only made contact with the Pinabi as recently as the 1960s, and they still lead a very traditional lifestyle. And over the years, I've been lucky enough to spend time with these extraordinary people. 2 years ago, all this desert country was hit with massive floods, and this is a result. Now, I've got differential locks on the vehicle, and this is the only way I can get through. Put the diff locks in, all 4 wheels are driving. This is my favourite desert drink, grevillea and water. When these grevillea are flowering, they're just oozing nectar here, and it's just a matter of dipping the nectar into the water a few times, and you've got yourself a beautiful, sweet drink. Mmm, delicious. There's only one problem when you get a camel on the road in front of you. He won't get off the track. Come on! On these really remote tracks in the Western Desert, at certain places where there used to be Aboriginal wells where they used to get water, the government years ago has installed these very simple pumps. So if you break down, you're guaranteed water. It's not a good idea to try and bring a standard caravan out on these rough corrugated roads because they literally fall apart. I'm now just on 1,000 kilometres from Broome. I've just about reached Kirakara, and this would be probably still the most isolated and most remote place in Australia.
Hello. Hello.
There you go.
Hello.
You see on the movie we all have a competition in the... This is my first morning at Kirakara, and it's freezing cold. Just a matter of making contact now with all the old people and the kids, and we'll spend the rest of the week out hunting. This is what we've been following for the last couple of hours. This cat track, or putty cat as they call it. The cat now dominates the Western Desert, and it's one of the preferred foods of the Pinabi people. And this is what we've been hunting all afternoon, these feral cats. I know it's not a very pretty sight, but they've killed out so many of our small native mammals, and now, after the kangaroo, these are the preferred food for the Pinabi people. They call it putty cat. We've gone for about 4 hours today just to get one of these. That'll feed a whole family. And this would have to be one of the most bizarre creatures in the Great Sandy Desert, Moloch horridus, or commonly called the thorny devil. They look very dangerous, but these spikes here are actually quite soft. Now, when people find these on the road, your first reaction is, oh, isn't it wonderful? Isn't it different? We'll take it home as a pet. Well, these are very hard to keep in captivity because they live on ants. So if you do see one of these, just have a look at it, take a photograph of it, and let it go on its way. Well, they had quite a day here. They ended up with 3 kangaroos, or malur, and a bush turkey and a cat. Yo. Once the fires died down, they cleaned the ash out, put the roos in, hot sand back on top and the ash, and that is a traditional way of cooking kangaroo out here in the desert. A feral cat leg bone is still used as an ornament by some of the old men. How's this for a mako, as they call them here, witchetty grub? Just have a look at the size of this. Oh. When you're looking for witchetty grubs, you don't always find that powdered eaten wood around the base of the tree. Sometimes the tree can be quite rotten. See how that tree is breaking away there? And to me, that's a good indication that there will be witchetty grubs down here in the roots. So I've just pulled this root out and you can see there's holes in each end and it's all been eaten along here, so I just split it open. There we are. See there? A nice fat grub. Just ease him out. Look at that. There's a good one, Mum. Lungunba. Your name. Yo. Now these ones are absolutely delicious. You can eat them raw. Just like that. Or cook them just for a few seconds on the hot coals. You eh? You eh? You eh? And that is just a superb taste. As I said 25 years ago when I was first out here in one of my early films, it tastes like a combination of sweet banana and almond. Just superb. Bella, look at Bella. This biggest mob. Hey? How many? How's that for a feed? Couple of hours in the desert? You can see why they call them the lizard eaters. This is my favourite tucker in the desert. Goanna, straight on the coals. That's a lot. Oh, right. This is the tail of the goanna, and you can see here this beautiful lump of white meat. There's an extraordinary story unfolding here at Kirakara. All the old men and the women now are doing paintings that are in world demand. Bottom Petty here was one of the last of the nomads to come out of the country north from here near Lake Mackay just a few years ago. And now he's a world famous artist and his paintings are bringing huge prices, especially in America and Europe. This is Sandhill country from north from here. And it is a very beautiful painting. You look at it, it's an abstract design, but it almost mesmerises you. You can actually see the sandhills moving, and to me, I can almost see that heat shimmering on it. I am very impressed. I knew when I got up this morning, we're in trouble. The camp's been ransacked by dingoes. One just over here watching me now, picking up the last of whatever it's stolen. This is all that's left of a bag of flour. And here, one lonely red-winged boot. The other one's gone, dragged away by the dingoes. Anyway, it's time for me to move on, but don't go away. We'll be right back after a break. This is a typical scene in inland Australia. Super saline water. There's salt crystals all around the edge. Camels have been down here drinking, but if I try to drink this water, I would die. So what I have to do is convert that filthy, undrinkable water into good drinking water. Oh, that's saltier than seawater. Now there are several ways of converting this to fresh water, but I first have to collect a fair bit of it. In a survival situation, you've often got to improvise. Now I've picked up this old jerry can on the side of the road. I've washed it out several times with the salt water. I'm going to fill it up
and stick an old hose in here, jam a rag in there, put it on the fire and collect some steam. I've now got the jerry can on a small fire. It's steaming away here, and the majority of the steam's going down the hose and coming out the other end here. What I have to do is condense that steam by pouring water over this t-shirt, and I just keep my fire going for several hours, get a cup of water. Using an old jerry can and a siphoning hose is okay, but when it converts back to water, the steam, sometimes it's got a pretty foul taste. So if you're serious about survival in the bush, you carry, say, a big pot, which I always have for cooking mud crabs. I've just got a hole here in the lid and about 3 metres of tube, and that gives me perfect water. This is pretty salty, disgusting, undrinkable water. So just fill up the pannikin here and straight on the fire. For this to work successfully, you've got to have an excellent seal on your lid. So the majority of the steam is forced out through the plastic hose. Now I just always put a bag or a rag or an old pair of jeans or anything over it. The steam comes down here and it condenses it and runs down into this pot here. But if you're going to rely on any of these tricks, these survival techniques in the bush, well, make sure you practice them well before you leave home. This is a very interesting Australian icon. It's an old tin billy with a difference. You use this when you've got very little firewood, or you don't like having a big fire and you want to boil the billy really quickly. You place your leaves in there and you put your billy on top here. But what actually happens is that the billy inside's shaped very differently. So the flames come up through here and they heat the water in just a minute or two. You can see the flames coming up through the middle of the billy, and that's why it heats the water up so quickly. I've got some very special mates. These are squirrel gliders, and they're a threatened species. I'll just open the door up here. Come on, guys. We've got a big spotlight on them. Here, look what I've got. Yeah. We're breeding a whole colony of these so people can see them at our new wilderness park at night. We're doing a big nocturnal walk and I'm very excited about it. Just in the tree nearby you can hear the barking owl. Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Out in the wild they live on sap and blossom. Here. 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 I've got one here, mate, look. Oh, there we are. They're just beautiful animals. I've just been to the airport and I've just picked up 2 purebred dingo pups. Isn't this just the most beautiful animal? This is a 9 weeks old purebred bitch. It's a purebred dingo, and we know it's purebred because it's been DNA tested. Very strong head, beautiful big paws, typical dingo colour, that ginger colour. A little bit quiet from the trip up from Perth. These have been bred in a wildlife park down south. Now, just take a little bit of my saliva and put it on there. They get the smell, and I believe that helps with the bonding. There you are. You just go for a little walk around. But this guy here, oh now, this is a very special dingo. Your first reaction is, never seen a black one. Well, you only get about 4% of dingoes, and the total population in Australia are this particular colour. 25 years ago in the Great Sandy Desert of Western Australia, I saw one of these, and they always have the touch of ginger or brown on the feet here, and the very strong piece of white on the 4 feet. See there? Very uniform colour, and the white blaze underneath there, see? Strong white blaze and a very strong tip on the tail. You also get white dingoes. Only about 1% of the total population throws to the pure white. See that white under the chin there? Yeah, there you are. A little bit quiet from the trip up. This one's also a purebred, been DNA tested. A little bit of saliva there. Yeah, go for a little bit of a run, and then you go and have a good sleep.
I've got the 2 dingoes here. I've just brought them back out to the farm. I'm now going to introduce them to the other 2. What I've done is cut off some of their territory. Now the male there is trying to dominate these 2. So I'll keep them divided off like this for a few weeks, then I'll open it up. It'll probably be a big fight, and they should be all right. We can see how successful that was. During the night, they dug themselves a hole under there. Everybody's happy. So, here goes number 4. So all's well. Well, that's the end of the dry season, beginning of the wet season. And that's the end of the series too. I had a ball making it, but I hope you enjoyed watching it. With a bit of luck, we'll do it all again next year, once the rain stops.